Okay, can you see the screen now? Basics of vibration. Are you able to see the
Yes,
screen?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's understand some basics of vibrations. Earlier, we used to have the mechanical vibration subject, which used to cover very good amount of vibrations. Now is that the subject is removed. So let's understand a few basics of vibrations here itself. So cycles are everywhere. Days will turn to weeks and weeks turns to months, and cycles are repeated at regular intervals, and this repetitiveness underlies the concept of vibration. That is what exactly we call the to and fro motion of a body is called vibration. And vibration as a source of comfort, what can be it is? So during our childhood, right, we are rocked to sleep in a cradle. Then, when we become old, we do rocking back and forth in a rocking chair. That means from being infants to old age. So, this to and fro motion of a cradle or a rocking chair is a source of comfort. But that is, vibration is a source of comfort. So, from cradle to the rocking chair. Okay. So, where we have got to and fro motion, or the motion which repeats, okay, at a regular interval, or the repetitiveness of motion, okay, and these two indicates that the vibration as a source of comfort. Okay, next comes, and what are all the things that are, one second. Okay, so what are all the things, or where, which are all the fields that it is connected to? So it is connected to, are you able to see the screen clearly now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so vibration is there in biology, vibration is there in physics, chemistry, astronomy, geology, economics. Okay, so in biology, what do we have is the pulse rate, breathing rate under biology. They are small examples. Then in physics, we have got waves and sound. In chemistry, we have got atomic vibration, spectroscopy, and so on. When you come to astronomy, everything is under vibration. That is planetary orbits, even galaxy movements, right? So everything is under vibration. There is a constant motion of the planets. Okay, and then when it comes to geology, that's the major ill effect of the vibration. That is earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, seismic tremors, financial cycle. I mean, when it comes to economics, it is financial cycles, business cycles. Okay, so vibration is what then? So if I take biology, for example, pulse rate and breathing rate, okay? So vibration is life, correct? Absence of vibration is what? Absence of vibration is, yeah? Can anyone tell me? Absence of vibration is, yeah? Hello, are you all there? Are you there? Nilesh? Anybody? You people are there or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you are there or not? I say. There is no
Yes, sir.
voice at all. Are you sleeping
No,
or
sir, we
anything
can see the
else?
PPT.
Okay, right. So, no, you are seeing PPT, but you are not you are not with PPT. You are expected to be with PPT, I say. Huh? Okay. So, when you take biology, pulse rate and breathing rate, come to physics, waves and sound, and astronomy, planetary orbits, they're all under vibration. So, vibration is life. Absence of vibration is what? When vibration is not there, that means what? Absence of vibration is
No life, sir.
death. Yeah. Okay. So you need vibrations. Next comes the vibration is motion which repeats itself after an interval of time. That's vibration. Again, to and from motion of a body in a particular time interval is said to be subjected to vibration. Now, what are the causes of vibration? So, they're because of unbalanced forces in the machines. If you don't balance the parts in the machine, that leads to vibration. External excitations in terms of impact loads is a cause of vibration. Earthquakes leading to failure of buildings and structure is a cause of vibration. Winds would cause vibration of transmission lines. Okay, so these are all the causes of vibration. Okay, so essentially these are the causes of vibration. And what are the effects of vibration? So when we take harmful effects, you have both useful and harmful effects of vibration. When it comes to harmful effects, so unbalanced forces leads to excessive vibration, that leads to excessive stresses. Again, undesirable noise. Okay, that is another very important parameter of effect of vibration. Loosening of parts. Okay, so essentially the parts will get loosened because of vibrations. Okay, normally if you see these road rumblers, no, they have put white paint. You know, do you know what those paint are called? What? Continuous, they would have put 5 or 6. What are they called as? What they are called? Nilesh, Sagar Dutt, Roshan Yadav, Niharika. Okay, they are called rumblers. Hey, Siddharth Sridhar, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Siddharth, you are in batch 3. The batch is changed. From you, the batch 3 starts.
Okay, fine, sir.
Okay.
Join other.
If you want, you can be here or you can join in B3.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Sanjay Raghav.
Yes, sir.
What will happen if you move your vehicle on rumblers?
So you'll feel a little vibration, sir.
Vibration. Okay. So if you do it continuously for a kilometer like that, all the welded parts will dislodge themselves and they fall off. Okay. So that's what exactly happens when you have that is loosening of parts will happen when the vibration exists. So there's another harmful effect. Next comes partial or complete failure of parts. So this is another harmful effect of vibration. There are many useful effects of vibration as well. So what are the useful effects? Essentially musical instruments, shakers, and stress relieving. Okay. So these are the 3 useful effects of vibrations. Now, how to eliminate vibrations is the next question, right now. So removing causes of vibration is one of the major ways to eliminate vibration. And then putting screens if noise is an objection. This is what they do, the acoustics, okay? Acoustics engineers, this is what they do in theaters and all to avoid the external noises. They do put screens, okay? So then placing machinery on proper isolators, okay? So all the machines are placed on isolators. So they'll have proper foundation bolts being done so that they can avoid vibration of the machines. Then shock absorbers. This you are all familiar with automobiles where they absorb vibrations. Okay. So these are the ways to eliminate vibrations. Now let's look at some of the terms in vibration. So period of vibration or time period. It is the time interval after which the motion is repeated in itself. This is one time taken for one period. Okay. The cycle repeats after that. Cycle is the motion completed during one time period. Okay. And frequency is number of cycles described in 1 second. So how many cycles are there? If I take this as 1 second, if I take the beginning to end as 1 second, how many cycles are there here?
3, sir.
3 cycles. Okay, frequency is 3 cycles per second or 3 hertz. Okay, so that is frequency. Next, what are the types of vibrations? That is the next question that we need to know. So let's look at what is free or natural vibrations. So free vibrations are the one when there is no external force acting on a body after giving an initial displacement. Okay, so give initial displacement, then leave the body keep on oscillating to unfold. So you can imagine a simple pendulum or a spring and mass system where we give initial displacement and allow the body to vibrate. Okay, so such type of vibration where there is no external excitation, such vibrations are called free vibrations, and the frequency is called the natural frequency. So what is forced vibration? The best example for forced vibration is the electric calling bell. As long as the circuit is complete, the bell keeps ringing. The moment you take out your hand, the bell will stop ringing. So that is the forced vibration. That's an example of forced vibration. That is when the body vibrates under the influence of external source or external force, then the body is said to be under forced vibration. Okay. If you take electric motor also, it is also an example of forced vibration, because as long as the power connection is there, the motor keeps running, otherwise it will stop. So vibrations, the vibrations have the same frequency as applied for. Next comes damped vibration. As we know, damping is the resistance offered for vibration. That is the definition of damping. When you have vibration under a damping, under a damped source or damping source, okay, then it is called as damped vibration. That is when there is reduction in amplitude over every cycle of vibration. The motion is said to be damped vibration. Then what is undamped vibration? What is undamped vibration? Yeah, what is undamped vibration? Damped vibration is resistance for vibratory motion. Then what is undamped vibration?
So when there is no resistance.
Yeah.
When there's no reduction in the
Sir,
amplitude.
free from resistance.
Okay, when there is no reduction in amplitude, when there is no resistance for vibration, and so on. Okay. So in that case, right now, I have a simple spring mass system. I'll give initial displacement and allow it to oscillate. Over a period of time, will it come to standstill or it will keep on vibrating? What will happen? I'll take a spring and mass system, give initial displacement and leave. So it will keep on vibrating, okay? But at one point it will stop vibrating, correct? So we are there also, there is no damping medium. That is, there is no resistance for vibration. But still it will come to a standstill. Why it will happen that way? What stops it from vibrating? Yeah? What stops it from vibrating?
Sir, it loses its energy.
It loses its energy. Why? So there is
So resistance of air.
Yeah, that is the resistance of air which will make it to, that is the air itself acts as a damper. Okay, so that's how it will come to a standstill. So damped vibration, so the damping medium can be many things, many can act as damping medium, but most often the oil or viscous medium is used as the damping medium. Okay. And then another classification of free vibration is longitudinal vibrations, transverse vibrations, and torsional vibrations. So what do you mean by longitudinal vibration? Longitudinal vibration is the one if the body or the vibration takes place along the axis, okay? Along the axis, that is, it will move along the axis like this, then we call it as such vibrations as longitudinal vibrations, essentially a spring and mass system which is mounted something like this, okay? Spring and mass system essentially will act as or will be the example for longitudinal vibration. So what is transverse vibration? If say suppose I take a shaft and a body like this, okay? So this is the body, this is the axis. During vibration, if the axis goes almost perpendicular to the axis of the shaft or there like this, then such vibration is said to be transverse vibration. That is almost perpendicular to the axis of the shaft. Vibration takes place almost perpendicular to the axis of the shaft. Such vibration is called transverse vibration. And torsional vibration, it's essentially like a torsion, that is twisting. So if I take a member, this is the body and this is the disc, and I'll give torsional moment to this disc, so the shaft will get twisted and untwisted in every cycle. Such vibrations are called torsional vibrations. Are you there with me? What are the three types of free vibrations? Longitudinal along the axis, transverse perpendicular to the axis. Torsional is what? Twisting and untwisting of shaft because of the torsional moment that is given to the disc. Is that okay? That is torsional vibration. Next comes, of course, critical speed of shaft. It's not. So in critical speed of shaft, I think previous class we did. So this is mode 1 and this is mode 2 type of vibration, where this is where you get a node, okay? At node, the amplitude of vibration is going to be 0, okay? So let's see if I can run this. Or I'll put it, Control C. I'll try to show a video, just hold on. Are you able to see the YouTube thing that I have got on my screen?
No, sir.
No, sir, you're not
No,
presenting
sir,
the
no, sir.
screen right now.
Yeah. Got it. Now, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Still it is coming. Are you able to see that vibration thing?
Yes, sir.
You are able to see YouTube there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just keep watching it. So it is now single degree of freedom resonance vibration test. Can you see the speed being increasing?
Yes, sir.
This is at 4 hertz. Okay, right. So what is it that we, oh shit. Okay, right. So the taller one had natural frequency of just 4 hertz. Next taller one has got 6.3 hertz, and the third one started vibrating at 11.3 hertz. Correct? Are you there with me? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So that means the more the taller the building, its natural frequency will be lesser and lesser. Correct. So if you think of Burj Khalifa and all their design, so you just at 4 hertz it starts vibrating so vehemently. So when you are designing such a large tall structures, okay, we got to take care of vibration into picture, because just at 4 hertz only it started vibrating vehemently. Same thing applies to automobiles also. If the CG of the vehicle is above the ground, okay, more and more above the ground, it becomes more and more what? It becomes more and
Yes,
more
sir.
unstable.
Unbalanced.
Correct? It becomes more and more unstable. Correct? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that is the understanding of single degree of freedom system resonance, right? So next we'll see mode shapes. Let's understand how the mode shapes, because this is one of the critical speed experiments that we conducted. So we'll watch this video now.
Sir,
Reliability Solutions presents key tips, techniques, behaviors, methodologies. Welcome to Chalk Talk. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Chalk Talk. Our subject this week is the subject of resonance. Resonance is a pretty common problem in industry today. Some people estimate about 1/3 of your machines have vibration on them that is being magnified by resonance or natural frequencies. One of the ways we have of identifying a resonance problem is to plot out a resonance mode shape. When structures vibrate due to resonance, they tend to vibrate with a resonant mode shape. There are various resonant mode shapes. For example, if the structure was vibrating like this, this would be the first critical. The first critical has 2 nodes and 1 antinode. The second critical mode shape looks something like this. In this case, there are 3 nodes and 2 antinodes. Here we have a structure resonating at its second critical mode shape. You'll notice that we have 3 nodal points and 2 antinodes. Remember, with resonance, if we're going to insert a brace, we need to brace it at one of the antinodes. If we brace it at the nodal point, it has little or no effect. If we brace it at either of the antinodes, we solve the problem. So it's not a matter of just making the structure stiffer, it's knowing where to put the brace. Again, if I was to go out into a real structure in the field, I could probably use my coin to actually feel the vibration across the structure, like this. And I could actually feel different amplitudes, intensities in that vibration. Now we'll do the third critical mode shape. This has 4 nodes and 3 antinodes. And this one is the third. Here we have the third critical node shape. Notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different nodes and 1, 2, 3 antinodes. Remember, if we brace at a nodal point, it doesn't do any good. If we brace at any of the antinodes, the problem goes away. Of course, my speed varied just a little bit there. So that's resonant mode shapes. In many situations, that mode shape is apparent enough for you to detect it with nothing more complicated than a coin or a screwdriver in your hand. Understanding resonant mode shapes is one of the key elements to understanding resonance. In a later edition of Chalk Talk, we'll talk about how to plot those mode shapes using a vibration instrument and a piece of graph paper.
Okay. Yeah. So what we saw. Okay, so this is what we saw today. So vibrations, okay, what is the definition of vibration, comfort of vibrations, in what all the fields that we have vibration, causes of vibration, effects, okay, effects of vibration, both harmful and useful effects of vibration. Then we learned about few basics of vibrations and types of vibrations we saw. Okay, now we will go to the experiment of damped longitudinal vibration. Are you there with me? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the basics of vibration that we saw. So types of motion, then longitudinal vibrations, transverse, torsional, all these things we learned now. Free damped vibration also we learned. Okay. Now there is.
Sir.
Yeah?
So I
Tell
have a doubt.
me, Roshan.
So suppose if you are getting an earthquake, which is very huge, and the resonance, natural resonance of the tallest building doesn't match with its frequency.
Yeah.
So is it possible that another small building will fall and the tallest will survive?
Pardon me. So resonate. So falling off this thing. No, no. That is essentially. 1 second, Roshan. Madam. Tell me, man. Tell me, man. Yeah, Roshan, you were asking something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
tell me.
is it possible that we get such a earthquake, and it's a huge earthquake, and its natural frequency, so its frequency doesn't match with natural frequency of the tallest building. So it's
Uh,
possible that the tallest building are there, they will fall and the tallest will survive.
no, no, no. It will not be like that. It start from zero. Okay. You take those three pictures into mind. Okay. So frequency starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 15 hertz, for example. Okay. So first building that falls off is what?
4.5.
Yeah, okay. So the taller building is more vulnerable than shorter buildings, correct?
Yes,
Because
sir.
its natural frequency is so less, even for a small shake-up, the tall buildings will fall. Shorter buildings will survive for maybe up to 10 hertz of earthquake. Okay.
So then it was not a shaking at
No,
13.5.
shaking does not start instantaneously at some 6 hertz. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah. So that's how it will cross over all these lower frequencies, then to higher frequency. Once it comes to higher frequency, then only it will affect smaller buildings. And the moment the start shaking, then for smaller vibrations only, the tall buildings are vulnerable. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I think I was sharing the screen. Okay. So we need to understand certain the parameters of damped vibrations. As I said, damping is resistance to motion. Okay. The damping ratio is actually the ratio of damping coefficient to critical damping coefficient. Okay. That is called damping factor. Now let's look at the experiment of damped longitudinal vibrations. So aim of the experiment is to determine the logarithmic decrement, damped frequency, critical damping coefficient CC, and damping ratio of a given vibrating system. Okay. So please note down the title of the experiment as damped longitudinal vibration. Aim of the experiment is to determine logarithmic decrement and damping ratio. Observations: static deflection, fan weight is 2.07 kg, weight attached is 0.5 kg. Then the calculations will go later on after looking at the experiment. Okay. So please note down this much. Okay, noted down.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now let's look at how the experiment is conducted, then you will understand better. Okay, so can you see the thing?
Yes, sir.
Test rig you are able to see? Okay. This is the setup of damped longitudinal vibration. This is the viscous medium and this is the spring whose characteristics we are trying to find out. And this is the drum which rotates at constant RPM of 6 and has a diameter of 60 mm. Okay. And the vibration will occur axially. Okay. So along the, it is along the axis of the member, it's going to vibrate. This is the pan which weighs around 2.07 kg and this is the viscous medium that we have got. Okay. So just observe the video, and this entire setup was done by our students Rohit Rao Birje and company, okay, as their 8th semester project work. So see the video. Okay, students, this is the setup for damped longitudinal vibration parameters, and this is the spring whose initial length free length we need to take up. So lift the pan and measure the free length of the spring. Free length is nothing but the length of the spring in unloaded condition, which will give you around 117 millimeter as free length. Now, for this, you have got a drum to note down free length of the spring as 117 mm. Okay, that's initial length of the spring, Li. Please note down it is 117 millimeter, correct?
So can you toggle full screen, sir?
Yeah. Record the vibrations, and here the damping medium is oil over here. So it is that oil will give us the damping. Okay. Now for this drum, which is 60 mm in diameter and rotates at 6 RPM, mount a graph sheet. Okay, apply gum and then paste the graph sheet onto the rotating drum. Now place a sketch pen which touches the graph sheet like that. Now place the 500 gram weight onto the pan. Now if you see, the string will elongate. Now record the deflected or elongated spring length. So take scale and measure the elongated or final length of the spring, which will give you around 225 millimeters. Okay, that is the final length of the spring LF, which is 225 millimeter. That is after the load application. Okay. So this will give you final length of the spring. Whatever free length we took in the beginning was initial length of the spring. Together, difference of that will give you static deflection of the spring. Now, switch on the plug point over there. So the drum starts rotating and you get a line across like that. Now what you do is give initial deflection for the spring, and if you look at the drum, you will get the the vibrations recorded. Switch off the motor and take out the graph sheet. Now take out the graph sheet from the setting and you can see the vibration cycles that are generated something like this. Take any two successive amplitudes and find. Okay, take any two ratio of any two successive amplitudes. Okay, so natural log of ratio of any two successive amplitudes will give you logarithmic decrement delta. Okay, so in this case here, if you look at, if I take second and third, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's around 40 mm here, and this is around 1 to 25. Okay, 40 by 25, or if I take the first and second one, you should take consecutive amplitudes only. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 70 by 40 or 40 by 25. Okay, natural log of ratio of any two consecutive amplitudes will give us the logarithmic decrement. All right, are you there with me?
Yes, sir.
From there we can find out the frequency and the damping ratio for the given vibration. For the given spring, the vibration characteristics can be calculated later on. Okay, this is how we conduct experiment on damped longitudinal vibrations, essentially to find out logarithmic decrement, natural frequency, and the damping ratio. Okay, yeah, thank you. Once again, we'll run it. Okay, students, this is the setup for damped natural, damped longitudinal vibration parameters, and this is the spring whose initial length we have, free length we need to take up. So lift the band and measure the free length of the spring. Free length is nothing but the length of the spring in unloaded condition, which will give you around 117 millimeter as free length. Now, for this, you have got a drum to record the vibrations, and here the damping medium is oil over here. So it is that oil will give us the damping. Okay. Now for this drum, which is 60 mm in diameter and rotates at 6 RPM, mount a graph sheet. Okay. Apply gum and then paste the graph sheet onto the rotating drum. Now place a sketch pen. Place a sketch pen which touches the graph sheet like that. Now place the 500 gram weight onto the pan. Now if you see, the string will elongate. The string will elongate. Now record the deflected or elongated spring length. So take scale and measure the elongated or final length of the spring, which will give you around 225 millimeter. Okay. So this will give you final length of the spring. Whatever free length we took in the beginning was initial length of the spring. Together, difference of that will give you static deflection of the spring. Now, switch on the plug point over there. So the drum starts rotating and you get a line across like that. Now what you do is give initial deflection for the spring, and if you look at the drum, you will get the record, the vibrations recorded. Switch off the motor and take out the graph sheet. Now take out the graph sheet from the setting and you can see the cycles, vibration cycles that are generated something like this. Take any two successive amplitudes and find out logarithmic decrement. From there we can find out the frequency and the damping ratio for the given vibration. For the given spring, the vibration characteristics can be calculated later on. Okay, this is how we conduct experiment on damped longitudinal vibrations, essentially to find out logarithmic decrement, natural frequency, and the damping ratio. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, could you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll go back to calculations. Yeah, okay. What was the initial length of the spring? It is 117 millimeter. Okay. Are you able to see the screen now? Word screen?
Yes.
Okay. So find out the difference. That will give you static deflection. 225 minus 117 is how much?
108.
138 millimeter. Okay.
108.
108.
108, yeah, 108 mm. Okay, and pan weight is 2.07 kg. Weight attached is 0.5 kg. One second, be on the line. 18 MB idalla. That's making. Yeah. So now we have taken the weight there. What is logarithmic decrement delta? It is the ratio of natural log of, ratio of any two successive amplitudes. So in our case, what is that we took? ln of 40 by 25. What is the logarithmic decrement that we get here? Calculate ln of 40 by 25.
Uh, 0.47.
0.470.
1 second. ln of. It is 0.47, correct? Correct,
Yes,
huh?
sir.
Right. And using the equation delta is equal to 2 pi epsilon by root of 1 minus epsilon square. So delta we know it is 0.47. Find out damping ratio or damping factor epsilon. Find out damping factor epsilon.
So 0.0745.
How much it is?
0.0745.
Banu. Okay. Now coming to damped natural frequency, this T is 1.6. Based on the drum rotation and drum diameter, we get T to be equal to 1.6 seconds. Okay. So from there you will get omega, that is damped natural frequency. You are going to get it as 2 pi 2 into, that is anyway 2 pi by 1.6. That's equal to how much it is? Damped natural frequency is
3.92.
3.927 radians per second. Correct? Huh? Next is, what is the epsilon you got? What is the epsilon?
0.07.
0.07.
074.
074, correct? So that is the it is not delta, it is the value of damping factor, correct? Okay, that is epsilon is equal to 0.074 is the damping factor. Then find out omega n is given by omega d by root of 1 minus epsilon square. Omega d is 3.927, epsilon is 0.074. Find out omega n, that you substitute in critical damping coefficient equation and find out the value of critical damping coefficient and then damping coefficient. M is 2.57, okay, 2.57 kgs. Omega n is omega d by root of 1 minus epsilon square, and from there we can find out critical damping coefficient. That multiplied by damping ratio will give you the damping coefficient C. Give me the value of omega n first. Omega n is
So 3.93.
1 second, divided by root of 1 minus 0.074 square. How much it is?
93.
Correct. 3.93 radians per second. Okay. Now, what is going to be the value of critical damping coefficient?
16.3.
That is 20.2, correct?
So mass is
2.57. That is the load, no?
So it's
0.5.
2.07 you typed.
No. 2.57, no? Is it correct? 20.2 Newton second per meter is the value of critical damping coefficient. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please calculate. Others, please calculate. What is the value of damping coefficient then?
0.074.
Just check.
1.49, sir.
That is what? It is 1.495, correct? Newton second per meter. That is the damping coefficient. Is that okay? Could you understand how to do this experiment on damped longitudinal vibration? Could you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any doubt in this for you? Any doubt here?
So the same principle is used in seismograph.
No. Seismograph is basically extracted from using accelerometer. There is one seismic meter. So something like you will have a board, you will have a stylus, and that will be mounted on vibrating equipment. So that keeps on recording continuously. Okay. So it is based on basically the principle of seismometer. Okay. So that is different from this. Okay. So that's totally different from this. So if you want to understand it better, so it's essentially like, accelerometers and vibrometers. They are based on the concept or principle of seismographs. Okay. So if you look at accelerometer, if you want to find out vibration of a spindle, place the accelerometer near the spindle. It will pick up the vibration and will get the random vibration being plotted. From there, using a FFT analyzer, that is fast Fourier transforming analyzer you will get. So from that, you can analyze these vibrations, find out the maximum vibration which is contributing, and then try to eliminate those maximum vibrations. So that's how it is done. So if you want more insight into that, you can get into condition monitoring of machines. So type that, you will get more knowledge in vibrations in that field. Condition monitoring of machines. Okay. So basically, accelerometers and vibrometers, which are used for finding the vibrations. Okay. So that is based on the seismometer concept, where you will have a vibrating body, then you will have a pointer and a stylus. As the base vibrates, so the seismic, the pointer keeps moving on the scale, and then the records are made. Okay. Is that okay? Anything, anybody, any doubt in this experiment? Have you all calculated, Prajwal?
Yes, sir, I have calculated.
Nilesh calculated?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Roshan?
Yes, sir.
Sumant?
Yes, sir.
Junaid, did you understand? Yes, Mr. Junaid. Are you there, Junaid? Okay. Niharika?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Nikhil R, what happened to your mic? Not working? What I say, you are so old, obsolete people. You should all have Nikhil. Don't say camera not working, audio not working. You should get yourself updated, man. At the age of 50, we are getting updated, and you people are still telling camera not working, audio not working. Okay, Neerab, noted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Prajwal Patil,
Yes, sir, calculated.
calculated. Okay, Rohan Kagalkar,
Yes, sir.
explain the experiment now.
Yes, sir.
How did you do?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we had a spring of 117 mm, sir.
Okay.
And first length we take, sir, and we get 117 mm.
Initial length of the spring. Next.
Yes, sir, initial length. Then we place a graph paper in the roller, sir.
And the drum.
Yes, sir, drum, sir. Roller drum, sir. And we extend the spring, sir. Then we take final length of.
No, we don't extend. We place the mass of 0.5 kg on
Yes, sir, 0.5 kg, sir. It will expand,
Spring
sir.
will
So
elongate.
then, yes, it will elongate. So we get the final length as 225 mm, sir.
Okay.
Then we calculate the deflection by subtracting both the lengths, sir.
Not both the lengths.
Yes, final minus initial, sir.
Initial length. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Next.
So,
After that, what we do?
so then we calculate, sir, calculation.
You don't switch on the motor, note down the vibration.
Yes, sir. Then we get the graph, sir. Then we take 2 successive vibrations, sir.
Amplitudes.
Yes, sir.
2
successive vibrations.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we start the calculation, sir.
Okay. Sagar Dutt, what is logarithmic decrement? Delta. Sagar Dutt Mathur. Are you there, Sagar Dutt? So I switched on and gone.
Yes, sir.
No. Yeah.
No, sir. Even sir.
Yeah. Tell me what is logarithmic decrement.
So can you be a bit louder? My laptop is not functioning properly.
Okay. Then Sagar GV, your laptop is okay. Sagar GV, your laptop is okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Logarithmic decrement definition delta. ln of x2 by x1.
Ratio of initial amplitude to final amplitude.
Hey, no, Sagar. No, Sagar. Sanjay Raghav, define logarithmic decrement.
So the logarithmic decrement is the log of x1 by x2.
Hey, no. Sheikh Manan, Logarithmic decrement. Sheikh Manan, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is logarithmic decrement? Can you define logarithmic decrement delta?
Sir, logarithmic decrement, sir, ln of x1 by x2, ratio of that.
What is here? Ln means what, man?
Initial, sir, initial length of spring, sir, and divided by final length of spring.
No, man.
Damping
Show
ratio,
with,
sir. Ratio of
no,
damping ratio of.
no, Sheikh Manan, hold on. Show with Katare. What is logarithmic decrement delta?
Log of x1 by x2.
You are sleeping and sleeping. Show with
Sir?
sleeping.
No, sir.
No, then your voice looks sleepy. Prajwal Bhatt.
Yes, sir.
Please give me
Natural
definition.
logarithm of ratio of initial length by final length. Of
No.
the ratio of the two amplitudes, sorry.
Two successive amplitudes.
Amplitude.
Okay. It is the ratio of natural log of ratio of any two successive amplitudes is logarithmic decrement. Could others understand? Nirav,
Yes, sir.
what is damping factor? Epsilon.
So long. Sir, I don't know that.
What is the last equation that you have taken, Nirav?
C is equal to epsilon into CC.
Okay. C stands for damping coefficient. CC stands for critical damping coefficient.
Okay, sir.
Epsilon stands for damping ratio or damping factor.
Okay,
Now
so it's
tell me,
the
what is the definition of damping factor?
it's the ratio of
Yeah.
it's the ratio of the damping factor to the
Damping coefficient.
damping coefficient to the damping factor, sir.
Critical damping coefficient.
CC is critical damping coefficient, no, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And C is critical damping coefficient.
Coefficient.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. All of you, please note down delta is equal to logarithmic decrement. Please note down delta is equal to logarithmic decrement. Delta is equal to logarithmic decrement. C is equal to damping coefficient. C is equal to damping coefficient in Newton second per meter. CC is critical damping coefficient. C subscript C. CC is critical damping coefficient. Critical damping coefficient. Then what is epsilon? Epsilon?
Damping factor.
Damping factor.
Damping factor. Okay. Damping factor. Damping factor. Omega D is damped natural frequency in radian per second. Omega D is damped natural frequency in radians per second. Okay. Got the clarity now? Got the clarity? Got the clarity, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is how we conduct experiment on damped longitudinal vibration. Okay. Yeah. Please answer your roll call. Niharika,
Present, sir.
Please switch on your videos first. Please switch on your videos before telling attendance. Niharika.
Yes, sir. Present.
Okay. Nihar Venkat Sai. Venkat Sai. Nihar Venkat Sai not present. Nikhil R. Camera not working. Okay. You are there? Okay. Nilesh. Nilesh Srivastav. Nilesh, are you there? Okay, is there?
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Okay. Where you lost somewhere? Went somewhere? Nilesh. Okay.
No, sir. There was a connectivity problem, so I
Okay,
wasn't able to
okay.
access the audio.
Okay, okay. Nirab,
Yes, sir.
there, you are there. Show me your face. Camera not working. Okay.
It's okay,
Fine.
sir.
Prajwal Patil. Prajwal Patil. Present. Prajwal Patil. He was there, no? Roshan, in between.
Yes, sir.
Prajwal Bhatt.
Present, sir.
Okay. Prince Tongar. Rishabh Pandey.
Present, sir.
Okay, you are there. Noted down,
Yes,
Rishabh.
sir. Yes, sir.
Done all calculations.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rohan Kagalkar.
Sir.
Okay, fine. Roshan Yadav, you are there. Suman Paul.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suman calculated, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes. Done. Sir.
Okay. Sagar Dutt is there. Okay. Okay. Sagar GV.
Present, sir.
Okay. Sanjay Raghav.
Present, sir.
Okay. Sharanaya Hiremat. Sheikh Manan. Present, I think. Yeah.
Present, sir.
Manan, your internet all problems solved, huh? Sheikh
No,
Manan.
sir, it's still going on, but I will install tomorrow, sir, that fiber.
Yeah. Fine, fine. Shobit Karare.
Yes, sir. Present.
Shobit, present. Siddharth Shankar. Siddharth Shankar. And Junaid. Junaid, I think he was there. Sri Prasad, not there. Okay. Okay, then we'll meet next week with another experiment. Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.